नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 1, text chapter 3, text 21 onwards. Tatah saptadashe jata satyavatyam parashara chakre vedataro shakha drishtva punso alpametasaha. Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashar Muni. And he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent. Originally, the Veda is one, but Srila Vyasadeva divided the original Veda into four, namely Sam, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva. And then again, they are explained in different branches like the Puranas and the Mahabharata. Vedic language and the subject matter are very difficult for ordinary men. They are understood by the highly intelligent and self-realized Brahmanas. But the present age of Kali is full of ignorant men. When those who are born by a Brahman father are in the present age no better than the Shudras. The twice born men, namely the Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas, are expected to undergo a cultural purificatory process known as sanskaras. But because of the bad influence of the present age, the so-called members of the Brahman and other high-order families are no longer highly cultured. So this is the reality of today's age, that so-called Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, they're supposed to go through sanskar, and then they would become eligible to study the Vedas, study the Shastras, or understand. But they're no longer highly cultured. They are called the Dvij Bandhus. Dvij Bandhus means Bandhu means a friend of Brahman, but they're not actually Brahman, but to just give a mild term, they're called friend of the Brahman. But these Dvij Bandhus are classified amongst the Shudras or lower categories. They're not qualified as Brahmans. But these days, we have so many so-called Brahmins, and they pose as Brahmins, but they don't have those qualities of a Brahmin. They might be born in a Brahmanical family. They have the last name as, say, whatever, Sharma or Upadhyay or Chaturvedi, Dvivedi, Trivedi. All these Trivedi, Chaturvedi, Dvivedi, they have no knowledge of any of the Vedas, but they are supposed to be called Chaturvedis. As if they know all the four Vedas. So this is the reality these days. So Vyasadeva, even there was only one Veda in the beginning, and Vyasadeva he divided it into four Vedas: Sam, Rig, Yajur, and Atharva Veda. So this is a meaning of the word Vyasadeva. Vyas means one who expands. So he expanded one Veda into many Vedas, and then many corollaries of Vedas like Puranas, Itihas, and other scriptures, just for the people of Kali Yuga. So people of Kali Yuga can also understand scriptures. Even after Vyasadeva expanded or divided the Vedas into so many different scriptures, even then, for people like us in Kali Yuga, it's very difficult, hard for us to understand the scriptures without the commentaries of these acharyas. And Srila Prabhupada, until we read Prabhupada's commentaries, if we only read the predecessor acharyas' commentaries like Jiva Goswami, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, we won't be able to understand anything. It's so difficult. Prabhupada has given these commentaries in a very simple manner, very intricate tattva, intricate principles of Vedas, of the scriptures. He has given in very simple language. for us to understand, to really understand what the scriptures say. So if we had only, like Bhagavad Gita, if we had only the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, how many of us would be able to understand anything out of that? And then we would be interpreting in our own way, oh, this means that, and then there'll be lots of chaos and confusion. So Prabhupada, because his commentaries are so powerful, so wonderful, and then we are able to not only understand Bhagavad Gita or other scriptures, people like me are preaching, trying to give the meaning of these scriptures to others. Otherwise, I have no qualification. So, but the Ved Vyas, he appeared to give the Vedas for the people of Kali Yuga. Text 22. Nardevatvam apanna surkarya chikirshaya samudra nigrahadini chakre viryan yataha param. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Ram. In order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods, he exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist King Ravan, who was on the other side of the sea. So one thing we have to understand, these incarnations are not given in any chronological order, because Vyasadeva didn't appear before Ram. Ram appeared in Treta Yuga, Vyasadeva appeared towards the end of Dwapar Yuga. So they're not given in any chronological order. Some order, whatever Sud Goswami thought it was okay, so he gave. So for Lord Ram, we know the stories of Ram, whatever pastimes he did, and how he built this bridge on the ocean and went on the other side of the ocean to kill Ravan and get his wife Sita back. Oh, who got... So purport, basically purport is about the pastimes of Ram. It is a small purport. But about Ravan, Prabhupada is writing, Ravan was one of the puffed up ones who got puffed up by tiny success in material advancement. So Ravan was one of them, and he wanted to deport ordinary men to the planet of Indra, heaven, by material means without consideration of the necessary qualifications. He wanted a staircase to be built up directly reaching the heavenly planet, so that people might not be required to undergo the routine of pious work necessary to enter that planet. So this was one of the schemes of Ravan. It sounds very funny and sounds very big project, dream project. He wanted to build a staircase from earth to heaven, so that people, even ordinary people, could go on that staircase and reach heaven. Instead of going through the purificatory process, going through the pious activities to reach heaven, he wanted just to build a staircase, because he thought, I'm controlling Indra. His son was Indrajit. His son had defeated Indra. Yeah, I am controlling heavenly planets. I am controlling Earth. I can do anything and everything, whatever I want. But this was again against the laws of nature, laws that Krishna had established. So that's why Prabhupada is writing. He also wanted to perform other acts against the established rule of the Lord. He even challenged the authority of Sri Ram and kidnapped his wife Sita. Of course, Lord Ram had to come to chastise such atheists, answering the prayer and desire of the demigods. So this is a complete story is in the Ramayana, Prabhupada writing, but this is the plan of all the atheists, the atheistic demons, to break the laws of the nature, to work against the established laws that the Lord has established, that the Lord has put down. Similarly, in today's society, so scientists, what they are trying to do, so many things. One is this cloning. What is this cloning? Cloning is giving the soul in the body, soul in the embryo, the baby who's in the embryo, giving him a different kind of body than what he is entitled to by his own karmas. So again, playing with the nature, messing with the nature. So obviously it's going to have wrong effects, but they're not going to stop there. Then other things that the scientists do, which are very funny things. I don't know why how it comes to even their mind, but instead of just following the laws of nature, they want to do something. They say creative. They say it is very innovative for the society. It's very helpful, but actually it's not. Just like in Japan, these days in India, it's a watermelon season because summertime watermelons are there, and watermelons are round or oval shape. In Japan, they have created watermelons which are cubical in shape. Well, what's the reason for that? Oh, it's good for transporting them because they would fit nicely in the truck. If they're cubicles, they'll fit nicely in the truck, so we can transport more of them in a truck. Why messing with nature? I don't understand what was the need for it. What's the real benefit out of it? But they give the justification like that. And then, like in the West, it's very popular to have seedless oranges, seedless grapes. That they do some genetic modification to create this seedless oranges, seedless grapes, seedless watermelons. Why? Because when we are eating all these fruits, then the seeds come in the mouth, and it's kind of a problem. It's not very tasty. If you bite on the seeds, it is little sour, so it's not very tasty. So they create these fruits by genetic modification, but they don't understand if the seed is created by God to be in the fruit, let it be so. But they play with the nature, and the nature obviously it's going to backfire. They're playing with the nature with genetically modified seeds, genetically modified crops to, to give more yield by the same crop. But if you genetically modify it, it will create some more problems in the crop, which are not good for the body. But this they would understand after many cycles of the crop. And by the time they understand what went wrong, it's too late. But this is what the scientists are also atheists because they don't believe in God and the laws of nature. If they believe, they can try to improve the quality of life, which is fine, but not by messing with the nature. And then the nature will strike back. It is going to happen. Definitely, it's going to happen. But by the time it's too late. And Prabhupada is writing, Lord Ram exhibited superhuman activities which no human being, including the materially advanced Ravan, could perform. Lord Ramchandra prepared a royal road on the Indian Ocean with stones that floated on the water. The modern scientists have done research in the area of weightlessness, but it's not possible to bring in weightlessness anywhere and everywhere. But because weightlessness is the creation of the Lord by which he can make the gigantic planets fly and float in the air, he made the stones even within this earth to be weightless and prepared a stone bridge on the sea without any supporting pillar. That is the display of the power of God. That is just display of a little fraction of his power. And even that fraction we cannot emulate, we cannot imitate. एकोनविंशे विंशति में वृष्णिषु प्राप्य जन्मनि राम कृष्णा इति भुवो भगवान हरधरम. In the 19th and 20th incarnations, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balram and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, the Yadu dynasty. And by so doing, He removed the burden of the world. Obviously, the details will come in the 10th canto of Krishna and Balram's appearance and the pastimes. So here, it is specific mention that he invented himself. This was not the incarnation. So Krishna is the Supreme Lord himself. The specific mention of the word Bhagwan in this text indicates that Balram and Krishna are original forms of the Lord. This will be further explained later. Lord Krishna is not an incarnation of the Purusha, as we learned from the beginning of this chapter. He is directly the original personality of Godhead, and Balram is the first plenary manifestation of the Lord. So this is the difference between incarnations and the Supreme Lord himself. So Balramji is the first plenary expansion or manifestation, and Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Tatha kalo sampravritte sammohaya suradvisham buddho nam nanjana sutaha kikateshu bhavishyati. Then in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theist. So in the purport, this purport is a little long because Lord Buddha is mentioned here. And later on, there is no description of Lord Buddha in this Srimad Bhagavatam. And see, his mother's name is given and his place of appearance is given. So this is how specific scriptures are. If somebody says a so-and-so person is an incarnation, we should be able to ask which scripture is it mentioned that this person is an incarnation. Which scripture which was created by Vedas himself. We have so many people creating so many scriptures these days, claiming this person is God, that person is God. So we should be able to ask. So Lord Buddha is mentioned in this Srimad Bhagavatam that his mother's name will be Anjana, because the Bhagavatam was written 5,000 years ago. Bhagavatam was compiled 5,000 years ago. And Lord Buddha appeared much later in Kali Yuga. And his place of appearance is also given. He appeared in Gaya. Lord Buddha, a powerful incarnation of the personality of Godhead, appeared in the province of Gaya, Bihar, as the son of Anjana. And he preached his own conception of non-violence and deprecated even the animal sacrifices sanctioned in the Vedas. At the time when Lord Buddha appeared, the people in general were atheistic and preferred animal flesh to anything else. On the plea of Vedic sacrifice, every place was practically turned into a slaughterhouse, and the animal killing was indulged in unrestrictedly. So, because animal killing was done unrestrictedly, and Prabhupada is writing, every place was practically turned into a slaughterhouse, and they were doing it in the name of Vedic sacrifices. They're saying, oh, it's mentioned in the Vedas, we are supposed to do animal sacrifice, and people in general preferred animal flesh. So they were doing this sacrifice, and afterwards they were eating this animal flesh. Actually, when Brahmins do this sacrifice, even it's mentioned in the Vedas, animal sacrifice, but it wasn't for them to eat the flesh later on. The whole purpose of animal sacrifice was to give, it was like old animal was used to be sacrificed, and by the power of the mantras, the Brahmins would be able to give this sacrificed animal the life of either a fresh, new, young animal body, or they could give that soul a human body. They were so powerful, Brahmins, but it wasn't meant for eating the flesh of the animals. So that's why Buddha appeared, and he preached that he did not believe. Lord Buddha preached non-violence, taking pity on the poor animals. He preached that he did not believe in the tenets of the Vedas and stressed the adverse psychological effects incurred by animal killing. So when he appeared, this, excuse me, when he appeared, this animal killing was so prevalent, he had to basically tell the people in general, do not follow the scriptures if the scriptures advocate animal killing. Of course, his main reason was not for people not to follow the scripture, but his main reason was them to stop animal killing in the name of Vedic sacrifices. But in the process, he ended up deprecating the Vedas. And that's why Prabhupada at one place, he said, because Buddha, he didn't believe in the Vedas, this Buddhist religion was kicked out of India and it went into these areas of China and other Oriental countries. So less intelligent men of the age of Kali, who had no faith in God, followed his principle, and for time being, they were trained in moral discipline and non-violence. The preliminary steps for further proceeding on the path of God realization. At least it is a preliminary steps, which is moral discipline and non-violence. If you can even follow that, then we are not what advancement we are making on the path of self-realization. He deluded the atheists because such atheists who followed his principles did not believe in God. But they kept their absolute faith in Lord Buddha, who himself was an incarnation of God. Thus, the faithless people were made to believe in God in the form of Lord Buddha. That was the mercy of Buddha. He made the faithless faithful to him. So at least they became faithful to Lord Buddha. That his philosophy sounds very good because he says, don't believe in Vedas. Because Vedas teach this animal sacrifice. Of course, Vedas teach much more than that. But it was being propagated at that time towards atheism because they said, what kind of religion is this which teaches violence? Okay, he said, don't believe in Vedas, just follow me, just believe in me. And they believed in him. Of course, this Buddhist philosophy is completely atheistic philosophy. And because in the end, they say it's all zero, shunya. Everything is finished. Once you leave the body, everything is finished. Or once you realize, everything is finished. Nothing is finished. Soul never finishes. That's a preliminary teaching of Bhagavad Gita. But Lord Buddha came with a different reason, actually. His purpose of coming and preaching this message was different. At least to bring people from all the negativity, at least to bring them to the level of zero. Nihilism or void. Everything is void. So Prabhupada, of course, it's a long purport if we can read it at a time, at a leisure. Technically, Lord Buddha's philosophy is called atheistic because there is no acceptance of the Supreme Lord and because that system of philosophy denied the authority of the Vedas. But that is an act of camouflage by the Lord. Lord Buddha is an incarnation of Godhead. As such, he is the original propounder of the Vedic knowledge. He therefore cannot reject Vedic philosophy. But he rejected it outwardly because of Suradvisha, or the demons who are always envious of the devotees of Godhead, try to support cow killing or animal killing from the pages of the Vedas. And this is now being done by the modernized sannyasis. Lord Buddha had to reject the authority of the Vedas altogether. This is simply technical. And had it not been so, he would not have been so accepted as the incarnation of Godhead. Nor would he have been worshipped in the transcendental songs of the poet Jayadev, who is a Vaishnava Acharya. So Lord Buddha, he came with a specific purpose of giving this philosophy or giving this kind of teachings. So people would turn away from unnecessary animal slaughter. But now even the Buddhist philosophy, it has been completely diluted. If you see these Buddhist monks, they eat meat, if not all, most of them. And their philosophy is, oh, we are following the biggest kind of, what do you say? surrender or total dependence, they say when we go out for begging, whatever we get, we accept. If somebody gives us flesh, we accept the flesh. If somebody gives us cigarette to smoke, we will accept that. Girish Gupta Prabhu, your mic is getting on again and again. Please, I'm trying to mute it, but it's getting on again. And they say if somebody gives us a cigarette, we'll smoke because we are completely surrendered, we're completely renounced. But this is not the sign of renouncement. This is a sign, Prabhupada said someplace, this is a sign of nonsense. And also, like if we go to this place, Dharamshala in India, where Indian government has given sanctuary to these Buddhist monks, especially to the followers of the Dalai Lama. And lately, there were so many fetuses were found, female fetuses, because they had been killed. And so they're not following Lord Buddha properly, even these days and age, the so-called Buddhist. In fact, my father, he was involved with construction of this Buddhist monastery in South Delhi when he was working for Unitech. So this is called Karmapa in this near this IIT. So for a couple of months, I had to stay there in one of the guest rooms, and openly they would be cooking chicken in their kitchen. Openly, it was open. Lord Buddha's deity is there in the temple, beautiful temple, but in the kitchen they cook all sorts of nonsense. I don't know what kind of Buddhist followers are these, but this is what is happening these days. So we have to be very careful if we even want to follow Buddhist philosophy, that so much dilution has taken place. So anyway, I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, as far as my understanding goes, then there have been only 11 incarnations and so far, and we have gone up to the 18th one.
So those 11 incarnations what we speak of are the Lila incarnations. But then there are so many others. Lila, Yug Avatar, Manvantar Avatar, Shaktivesh Avatar, Guna Avatar. There's so many. So incarnations are unlimited actually. One place Prabhupada said there are as many incarnations as there are waves in an ocean. Like Vedvyasi is a Shaktivesh Avatar. He's not the full-fledged incarnation. Your mic is muted.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
is it okay now?
It's better.
We have been hearing from you also
now
that in Kalki Avatar is taking birth in the Kali Yuga, who is the 11th one. So since then you said that in Rama, you reached in Rama Avatar 18th one. So I was just wondering about that. How is it? So?
Oh, well, first of all, as I said, it's not given in any chronological order in this chapter. And even, in fact, the whole Bhagavatam,
talking
they
about
don't
the
come
numbers.
in
I'm not talking about the numbers, not the chronological order.
Yeah, so numbers, so in the beginning, Sud Goswami explained 3 Purusha avatars. So Purusha avatars are not in the Lila avatar category. Purusha avatars are Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu, and Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Then he talked about 4 Kumaras, Narad Muni, they are Shaktivesh avatar. Prithu Maharaj, that's a Shaktivesh avatar. So Leela Avatar are like starting with the Matsya Avatar, then Kashyap Avatar, all those Parshuram, Ram, Narsingdev, Vamandev, Varahadev. So these are Leela Avatars.
Okay.
Of course, these are like in Jaydev Goswami's poem, he explained these avatars, but these are the major Leela avatars. But there are so many others also in Leela avatar category, Because we don't read much about them. They did perform very little Lila here and there.
Okay.
So we don't read much about them. But there are so many.
Okay. Yesterday, Prabhuji, just last question. Out of the context, yesterday's lecture, your lecture was not recorded?
It was, and it was posted.
But it's not.
It was posted.
Posted. The lecture that has been posted is of the Manu Avtaras, which was day for yesterday, which was the previous one.
Okay.
Yesterday we did not discuss the Manu Avtaras.
I have to check. I
Because
didn't listen to
Mataji keeps on
what
listening
it
to
was
this.
posted.
Nirja keeps on listening to this.
April 10th, I sent the link to Abhishek Prabhu. I'll ask him what happened. Abhishek Prabhu is online, I guess.
Yes, Prabhuji. I'll check 1 second, but I think I posted the latest one, yesterday's only.
Have you, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
I posted it.
Okay. Chalo, I'll tell her that. Because when she was listening, then it was even that I'm hearing the same repetitive one than which I listened yesterday. I said I'll check up with Prabhuji. Okay, I'll tell her. Just refresh the link.
We don't want to get chastised by Mataji.
Abhishek Prabhu, just refresh the link.
I'll send it to you directly. Yeah, I'll send you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Radha Prabhu, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I just have a small question. When we refer to the incarnation of the Lord, which is very famous, the Dashavtar. Now, what is this 11th avatar? So the one separate.
See, in Dashavtar, Krishna is not mentioned because Krishna is Avtari. He's the source of all the incarnations. So sometimes they call Krishna as the 11th one.
Okay. So including Krishna and
in Dashavtar Stotra, Krishna is not there. Because he's the source of incarnation. It's not incarnation.
Okay.
So sometimes it's 11th avatar.
Okay. The museum when we went.
Where are we getting disturbance from?
I think Abhishek Prabhu's phone is creating some volume from outside. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, now you got it clear. Yes.
I remember seeing Krishna as one of the avatars in our museum in the list of 10 avatars.
No.
Where
in the museum?
Where we enter the museum, the Lord Vishnu is lying on the ocean. That big statue of Lord Vishnu. This side on the wall where the photographer sits, there used to be one big. So in that poster, Buddha and Krishna were also part of the.
No. Krishna was in the center, meaning that Krishna is the source of all these incarnations.
Okay.
That's a BBT painting. Krishna was in the center.
All right. And another question which I have is, when we see the Lord is unlimited and his number of incarnations are also unlimited, and Bhagavatam has only got the major incarnations listed there, and even the scriptures sometimes don't list all the incarnations. Is that understanding correct?
Yeah. I mean, other scriptures might have some or more names, but Bhagavatam just goes for few numbers.
Right.
If we ever get a chance, we can read the chapter on Chaitanya Charitamrita when Mahaprabhu is speaking with Sanatana Goswami. There he goes in all the details of the incarnations.
Okay. So is all the incarnations covered there?
If not the names, at least the categories are covered.
Categories are covered. So all the scriptures don't cover all.
तो डाला हुआ है.
All the scriptures. Yeah, what did you say? All the scriptures, what?
Put together all the, if you take all the scriptures, they still don't cover or mention all the incarnations of the Lord, right?
Well, incarnations have to be mentioned in scriptures, but if we might not be able to figure out what's a name because our limited source of knowledge of Sanskrit, knowledge of scriptures is there, but they are mentioned in some scripture somewhere.
Right. Now, even if it's all mentioned somewhere in the scriptures, we may not be able to recognize or identify them, you said. If somebody is posing themselves as incarnation of the Lord, how can we be very sure that he is not an incarnation? Because when we ourselves are not able to recognize.
At least we can ask him or his followers, if we want to really challenge, which scripture is it mentioned?
Okay. And another question regarding the staircase to heaven, which Ravan was building. It's a curiosity question. Why did Ravan has to do that? Because he has established himself as the supremo, even of Indra, like he is supreme to even Indra. So he didn't have to transport people to heaven. So what was the purpose and what was the objective that he wanted to do that?
They always want to defy the laws of God.
Okay.
Where the scripture says you can only go to heaven by doing pious activities or yajna. He said, I'll send the people to heaven by staircase.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he would have some toll gates over there to charge money, but that's a different story.
Yeah, there should be some
they always want to defy the Lord. This is the whole purpose of atheism.
Okay.
All these demons, this is what they want to do.
Right.
If they don't, then who will recognize them? They say I'm greater than God. God says only by following the scriptures you can go to heaven. I can send you to heaven, just go on the staircase.
Right.
Or maybe he had made the elevator. I don't know what exactly it was. It said staircase, but it would be long staircase from Sri Lanka to heaven. People might get tired. Maybe he built an elevator. I don't know exactly.
Not for all people, I think.
It says a staircase. Yeah. People want to go to heaven, but not by the ways mentioned in the scriptures, by yajna or by doing pious activities. They don't want to do that. They want a quick way, quick and easy way.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
You were talking about that Ravana wanted to build a staircase to heaven.
Well, so I just Prabhupada wrote in purport.
Yeah, but I learned that in school that even now scientists are trying to find a way to make an elevator in space.
Scientists are trying to send people by the space shuttles.
But they're trying to make an elevator that will go into space.
Well, there are many Ravans then. What can we do?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yes.
Ashok Prabhuji, I have shared the link.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Subramaniam Prabhu.
Guruji, I got a question related to the Buddha religion. You said it came out of non-violence and as a reaction to the rampant killing that was happening. Now, if the current Buddhism has got, and you also said that they believe in body and not soul at all. So I don't know if I misunderstood it. So if they are no faith in soul, it's just body and this birth. why is Buddhism given such a exalted and elevated position? Because what bliss was Buddha talking of if he's talking about just body consciousness? And secondly, if that is the case, what is the difference between Buddhism and what we refer to as Charvakas or hedonistic religions in the early part of this AD, where people just indulge in sense pleasure? So why is Buddhism then different from that? What is there to spiritual about Buddhism if there is no spirit?
What Buddhism talk about, they say this life is this particular life. Somebody has to work on self-realization, at least some spirituality, some self-realization process is there, chanting or meditation is there. But in the end, when one is self-realized, when the body dies, whatever the energy is there, it just merges into void.
But
So at
Guruji,
least they talk that much about it.
But Guruji, if there is no self, if they don't believe in self, so what are they meditating on? What is the object of meditation? If I'm sorry if I'm asking something different.
Object of meditation is to achieve nirvana, moksha. And for them, nirvana or moksha means merging or just finishing of your existence. Means no more existence, no more birth, death, old age, disease.
So, but if they're talking about
But this is not right. Actually, the soul will be there. Whether the Buddhists believe in the presence of soul or not, presence of eternal soul or not, the soul is there. But this is their philosophy.
So at the end of the day, it's just body. For them, it's just at the end of the day, body gets destroyed and there's nothing that gets passed on to the next.
Till we achieve moksha. No, this passes on. Incarnations will be there. Means we take rebirth. But till we achieve moksha, we have to take birth. But who's that we? But they say it's an energy.
Okay.
It's not soul, it's just energy. Charvak Rishi's philosophy is different. He says, eat, drink, and be merry. There's no next birth.
Okay. Okay, so there.
Of course, Charvak.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
So Buddhism, in a way, they just cleverly modified the Vedas by just replacing the self with energy, and then they say that don't follow Vedas. Is that the case?
Yeah. Yeah. Because the main reason for them not following Vedas was because this animal sacrifice is mentioned.
Okay.
And because it was misused, animal sacrifice is mentioned in Vedas, fine. But since it is misinterpreted and misused, that doesn't mean you can just deny the authority of the Vedas. We have to establish the real teachings of Vedas, not just deny, no, Vedas means nothing. But this was the purpose of Buddha to appear, and Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna. So we cannot deny his position as incarnation. But we don't have to follow the teachings of Buddha.
Hare Krishna, Guru.
And for Charvak Rishi, his philosophy was beg, borrow, or steal, eat ghee. Why? By eating ghee, one becomes very strong, his senses are strong, so he can enjoy in this material world very nicely. So somebody asked Srila Prabhupada in America, he asked, so Prabhupada, there has been these kind of swamis in India who preached, eat, drink, and be merry, although eat ghee, but enjoy. Prabhupada said, yes, these kind of philosophers have been there. And if it had been an American Swami or American philosopher like that, he would have said, beg, borrow, or steal, eat beef. So at least he said it's an Indian Swami who said eat ghee, because ghee is still better than eating beef.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Okay, Arakesh. Thank you, Prajit. Any other question or comment? It's already been 9:16. Yes, Radha Prabhu, I couldn't hear it.
So which means after all this discussion, we come to know that the Buddhists never believe in karma. They don't have any karma and reincarnation theory at all.
No, they have no. They have reincarnation till we reach stage of self-realization, which is nirvana. It's not like in this life only one will achieve nirvana.
Okay. Okay.
For them, the soul is just energy. That's it.
Okay.
There's no form, there's no shape, there's no eternality of this energy. Of course, the process of meditation there is very wonderful. I mean, if you don't go by the teachings, just if you go to any Buddhist temple and go to their main hall and sit down, amazing vibrations are there. Amazing. Because they all sit down, chant, meditate so nicely. But the ultimate aim is the one that is messed up. I mean, I have been to a Buddhist temple. If you sit down in the temple hall and chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on the beats, it's amazing vibrations and you get very good concentration on the holy name.
Right. But it's very difficult for me to believe that they all eat chicken and non-veg. They don't follow the teachings of Buddha anymore, because there should be some category of them, some group where they do all these things, and there might be another group which is strictly following. Is that a possibility?
I haven't come across. There might be. The Dalai Lama himself eats non-veg.
That is something very difficult to believe for me, because they're talking about compassion. How can somebody be compassionate?
This is ultimate sign of renunciation, that we eat whatever we get. We don't cook. We go for begging, and whatever we get, we eat.
Okay, they don't cook. They don't kill.
Yeah.
For themselves.
But in this monastery where I was staying at for 2 months, I stayed. They were cooking. They were killing. Everything was going on.
If there's a place where animal killing or any form of killing is taking place, how can there be any positive vibration?
But in the temple, it's amazing vibration.
This is very surprising.
It is surprising.
When somewhere where the killing is going on, there cannot be any positive energy. Only negative energy will be there. And if they still create a positive energy in one section of the campus where they worship, in another place they can do simply killing, how can they be so detached?
I have no idea. But I think people like it, so they can eat whatever they want to eat, and they can still meditate, and they think they can make advancement.
Very difficult to understand.
I can take you to this Karmapa temple in South Delhi.
To go and just closely have a observation of what all they do, because when I see them, I look at them like very, very peaceful people, very compassionate. And if somebody can indulge in animal killing, like we see in Bhagavatam, this animal killing is the one activity that kills compassion. And it is my own experience. Till about half of my life, I was a non-vegetarian. And when I was doing that, I was never having any form, any empathy or compassion for anyone. It was simply not there. But when I gave up, I just could see that my heart melts and it has become softer. So
it definitely happens. It has impact on consciousness. But somehow it's a different philosophy, or they're not following Lord Buddha properly. That's the problem.
Okay. And I heard from one of our Buddhist followers in our office that even in Buddhism there are many sects.
Yeah, that is true.
So there might be some sect where they truly follow Buddha. Maybe.
But everybody might be claiming they truly follow Buddha.
Yeah, but their claims we don't go by their claims. We just have to observe them and see who is really following.
But that's the problem in Kali Yuga. No? People don't go by the scriptures; they go by the person. Or this person looks good. He has many followers. He has such a big monastery. He must be the right person.
True. Yes, so that is very true. It's everywhere, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the answer.
Okay. Thank you all very much. It's been wonderful discussion. We will all see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.